Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We are queuing up for another great 2 hours of automotive information. Les, what do you got going on?
Well, we got a lot of news from the industry, and a lot of it's not good for consumers. But the average transaction price in vehicles is close to $50,000.
50 big ones.
I'll tell you, when we get to the point that it's the same amount that I paid for my first house, I'm going to have to quit the industry. But yeah, a lot going on money-wise.
Yeah, but we've got some results from Cars.com's affordability study, and that's kind of good news because there's a lot of vehicles you can get for less than $50,000, well less than that. We'll tell you about that. It's good information. And then it's a go over at Honda. 2 more new vehicles. They're going to have a couple of vehicles coming into their showroom, and we'll tell you what they are, so you want to stay tuned for that, right?
Absolutely. And Formula One is giving race fans a new view. And man, it's going to be exciting because you'll be right there with the driver.
Yeah, I love that technology because my background is also television besides radio, and it is going to be pretty cool. We're going to check that out. Infrared heaters. It's one thing about electric vehicles, Les. In the winter, they get warm right away.
It's awfully nice.
Lexus is going to help it out even further with infrared heaters. We'll tell you about that. I'll have an at-the-wheel review of the Mazda Cx-30. I took that. It was raining heavily when I got these shots, so we'll have that kind of a rather wet at-the-wheel review, but an at-the-wheel review just the same. And then we also want to remind you, if you haven't done so already, head on over to our Cruise Control Facebook page, and we've got that interview we had the other week with Harlan Charles. Very popular. A lot of people checking it out, talking about that E-Ray. And so we want to encourage you to go over there and give that a watch and give us a like and give us a subscribe because that really helps out.
By the way, in that picture, Harlan looks a little bit like the big boy statue at the restaurant.
I never thought about that,
but in fact, he's a very handsome guy and a great friend of ours.
Yeah, very, very great guy. So you want to check that out. It's all about the E-Ray. And, more news this week for Corvette lovers. Remember, he told us about that GT3R car that would allow you to buy it and start your own race team. Well, they released that, and we'll talk about that. And also, nice tribute. A lot of drivers, you're going to be seeing this on race cars.
That's really
Ken
nice.
Block. So, so we'll be right back with Cruise Control.
Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Control.
Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And welcome, everybody, to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine, and as usual, it's us. I'm Les Jackson. That's Fred Staab at the other microphone, and boy, we got a lot of stuff today. I mean, I honestly don't think we can get through it all.
If we talk
Fred,
very quickly.
I know we're going to try.
Yeah, we'll just talk very quickly. So here we go. The average vehicle transaction. No,
that's a little slower than that.
Oh, okay. Well, the average vehicle transaction price, Les, is about $50,000. Many of our listeners have been writing to us and saying, "Oh, what are we going to do? You got to talk about that." Well, you don't have to pay even half of that to get a great car or CUV. We'll take a look at Cars.com's Affordability Report, and there are a lot of great vehicles for well under $30,000.
which is really good news. And extra good news, too, it's a go. Over at Honda, 2 new models are heading to the showrooms.
Yeah, we'll tell you what they are, and they'll be heading on to U.S. showrooms very, very soon. Talking tech, infrared heaters to keep you cozy in your new Lexus. Instant heat. Who doesn't love that?
Man, that's what I love about electric cars. I mean, I love a lot, but having instant heat is wonderful. And Formula One. Race fans are going to get a new driver's eye view from in the race cars. They're all going to be equipped with it. It's been a long time since the old days when the movie Grand Prix was filmed with Panavision cameras on scaffolds on top of Formula One cars.
Less than aerodynamic, I would say. And
Man.
yes, and I will have an at-the-wheel review of Mazda Cx-30. A lot of fun. 2.5-liter turbo.
Yeah.
This is the Premium Plus, and a good little crossover, and a lot of fun to drive. So we'll check that out. Have you been in one of those, Les?
I have been in an electric version.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is really nice. It was fun. It
Yeah.
was a prototype.
Prototype, yeah. Yeah, this has the actual 2.5-liter turbo, which is making it the equivalent of a big block Chevy Corvette when you think about it.
course.
2.5 liters
That's right.
is huge, and a turbo to boot on top of it. So we'll have that at the wheel review. Yeah, a lot more coming up too. But I think this affordability report will be great information if you're going out to buy a new vehicle.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend $50,000. Now you don't have to pay over MSRP, and you shouldn't, unless you're buying certain specific cars that are very, very, very,
That's
in
right.
demand. So this is going to be great information. It comes from Cars.com. We're going to talk about that when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, and then also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our YouTube page, and a whole other bit of social media stuff. I'm Fred. He's Les. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. And it's time, Les. We're going to debunk the rumor that you need to spend $50,000 or more on a brand new vehicle. I like debunking that.
Well, I do too. I'm a very well seasoned debunker. And yeah, the price of, well, certainly half of the automotive purchases is way up there, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you're buying a second vehicle.
Yeah, I agree. And, if you have a specific one in mind and you really say, hey, this is a high demand vehicle, sort of like what I'm driving now, the Bronco. I have not driven that. I have that out in the driveway to do an at-the-wheel review on. That will be coming up in a couple of weeks. But, that's so popular that people were paying over MSRP. But also even Ford was telling them, don't order anymore. We'll pay you $2,500 to order something else. But what if you just need a great vehicle? You want a new vehicle that's got the safety features, it's got good fuel economy. Well, Cars.com has put together their Affordability Report, the best value in new cars and trucks. And we figured we kind of look down the list at these vehicles because you can get many vehicles for under $30,000, even under $25,000, and they're pretty well equipped, and many of them get 40 or close to 40 miles per gallon, right?
That's right. And they're not loss leaders. They're not stripped out, old school
old models or something.
Basically an engine and a transmission and a heater.
Well, let's look at them. And there's 6 of them in the car category. Hyundai Elantra SE. The starting price is $21,545, and medium trim, which if you know it's a Hyundai or a Kia, is going to be pretty nicely equipped. $22,005.
Yep,
that's pretty good. 42
That's
miles
decent.
to the gallon, right?
Absolutely, and it's a good vehicle. It's been around a long time. As has the Nissan Kicks.
Sort of a crossover.
Sort of a
Front-wheel
kind
drive
of
crossover. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And that's $21,925 medium trim price. Fully equipped, really.
Yeah. Not bad at all. Nice looking vehicle. Kia Forte LXS. They added on the technology package, and the medium trim price was $21,585. Nissan Sentra S, $21,380. When they see medium trim price, you're going to get something. It'll probably have cloth seats, but it will have Android
Right.
Auto, Apple CarPlay, so you can hitch your radio up. It will have hitch your phone up to your radio. It will have a screen. It will have probably all the safety features, especially with Nissan. They're
They
pretty
will,
much standard.
And you probably will have heated seats.
You might have heated seats too. Yeah, so it's a good deal, really. Nissan Versa as well. You and I have talked about this. 20,755, 40 miles to the gallon. Just if you're looking for a good set of wheels to commute in or whatever, that could be it, right?
Absolutely. It's a small car, but it's a good car.
Doesn't have a lot of horsepower.
No, it's fun to
122,
drive, though.
but it's fine, right?
And it's a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty.
That's pretty good. And then Kia Rio. That is, they added on the technology package. The starting price for that is $20,085. Median price, $20,240. 41 miles to the gallon. So all really good performers for not a lot of money.
That's right. Now, when it comes to SUVs, small SUVs, we can't go through that list because it's huge.
I some of them on there I like. I like the one on the top, the Chevy Trailblazer.
Yeah.
It is a great vehicle. It has a cool two-tone look to it. And the only thing I don't like about it is some of the features are not available right now due to the lingering chip shortage. I think that will change,
That will change. And I like the Volkswagen Taos.
Yeah, really nice vehicle.
It's very nice, and it's, $26,286 for the median trim, which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, really. How do they market that? Affordable German engineering, I believe.
Affordable German engineering, absolutely.
Well, we're going to continue with this Cars.com affordability study. Good information if you're heading out to look for a vehicle. You want something that gets 40 miles to the gallon, has a new car warranty, and perhaps all the safety systems out there as well. So when we come back, we'll continue on that journey. We're just getting started, though. Plenty more. We can tell you about a couple of new models from Honda. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Cruise control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I, before the break, were talking about the list of affordable cars, SUVs. We were actually on the SUV list. We're going to name them because it would take too long to go through them with the details. But boy, there are a lot of them under $30,000.
Some of them well under, Les Jackson.
Well under.
Yeah.
Like the Outlander, Mitsubishi, and Ford Escape.
Yeah. Mazda Cx-5, you can get one of those for $27,000. Pretty good. Ford Escape, as you mentioned. Equinox, Chevy Equinox, pretty big vehicle.
It is a good vehicle.
Yeah, $28,390. So that's not bad. And Kia Seltos, which is a nice vehicle as well, $26,000. So it can be done. Kona,
absolutely.
Hyundai Kona.
Yep, VW Tiguan, Subaru Crosstrek, very popular.
Yeah.
And that's $28,800.
That's a great vehicle. That really is. I like that a lot. That one a lot. By the way, we're going to tell you next month they're coming out with the 2024 complete revamp of that vehicle. So
that's right.
We'll talk about that. But the list goes on and on and on and on these things. All of them available. Toyota Corolla Cross. You and I drove that one not that long ago. $29,526. Well equipped. Buick Encore GX Select. $29,625. There's just a lot of vehicles for under $30,000.
That's right. And there are 3 trucks.
Small pickup
that
trucks,
are under,
right?
Yeah, pickups. And, we've been harping about the price of pickups for the last year or two. But these guys are under $30,000. The Maverick.
Yeah.
If you can get one.
Yeah. The Hyundai Santa Cruz, which has become a pretty popular vehicle.
I actually liked driving that more than any other truck. And a lot of SUVs.
Yeah. And Ford Ranger, of course, the basis of the Bronco and other vehicles. Median price for that, $32,470. So we've just kind of crested $30,000. But still, nice truck, right?
Absolutely. And you can get an electric for an affordable price as well.
Yeah. Well, these are vehicles you and I talked about a lot. Chevy Bolt, one of my favorites. It's had its issues with the batteries. It's not really GM's fault, but, it is a great way to tip your toe into the world of electric cars. And I'll tell you what, I'll talk about it now, but later on we're going to talk about how no one can put a price on what used electric cars will bring. They don't know what the resale value is.
Just don't know.
So many new developments coming up on electric cars. We're also going to talk about solid-state batteries. They could be with us in 3 or 4 years, some manufacturers are saying. And leaps and bounds, these things are changing. So if you want to dip your toe into the electric car world, maybe you do it with something like the Chevy Bolt or the Hyundai Kona EV, both of which we reviewed. And you're not spending a lot of money, and you're not going to, if technology dramatically improves, you're not spending $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on a vehicle that would be outdated.
Well, and again, if you're someone who owns a vehicle until the wheels fall off it, that's no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
But if you like to trade them in every 3 or 4 or 5 years, you have to really figure out what it's going to be worth. And in the case of electrics, you don't know what you paid for it until you sell it.
Yeah, and it might be dramatically out of date by the time you do that.
Just don't.
Maybe leasing's better if you're going to go with an expensive electric vehicle. Maybe leasing is better for that reason.
I think leasing really serves a good cause these days, and it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of those new cars, they were just leasing. But you can't go wrong with either the Kona Electric or the Chevy Bolt. They're fun little cars to drive.
Yep.
You know, they're not big SUVs or anything like that, but they are little around town grocery getters that you can, plug in and get a feel for electric vehicles. Even the Bolt has a decent range of 260, 250. So that's pretty decent. But hey, let's talk about Hondas. Hondas always are beautiful vehicles, and well, we're going to talk about one that will be making a return, and that is the Civic Hybrid. We don't have any shots of the Civic Hybrid yet because, well, it hasn't been in the lineup for a while, but it's going to be making a return in 2024 as a 2024 model. And it is going to be an affordable hybrid with high MPG. So that will be great news. We always like the Honda Civic Hybrid.
I've always liked it more than the Prius, mainly because it's a nicer looking and it's more comfortable.
Although the new Prius, let's face it,
the new Prius though is
pretty good looking,
coming on strong.
Yeah.
But back at Honda, the Ridgeline new one is coming, and everybody who owns a Ridgeline loves it.
Yeah, this is going to be the Trail Sport model. So we've seen the Trail Sport Pilot, and it's like many manufacturers. They make vehicles, a line of vehicles that have a little bit higher ground clearance. They have probably black wheels, more aggressive tires, and we're going to be seeing that. I mean, you look at Subaru; they have their Wilderness line, Trail Sport. For Honda, and then you go on and on and on. They have different models in Kia. Can't think of the name what they call it, but they have a whole line of vehicles that have a little bit higher ground clearance and a little bit more rugged exterior. Rugged exterior like you, Les Jackson.
Exactly. And if you're not a person that drives off-road on the trails, but you want to look like you are, buy one of these, get yourself a can of spray-on mud.
Yes. That does exist. It does exist.
And there you are.
Yeah, X-Line. That's what Kia calls their off-road capable models. And I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to trying both of these. Big fan of the Civic Hybrid and the Ridgeline. Great vehicle. I was very surprised when I got that. Capable truck, has that trunk underneath the bed, and good vehicle. So look forward to both. I'm sure the Honda does a nice job. So there you have it. Let's talk a little bit about Jay Leno. He had a bit of a bad week, and we love Jay Leno. Nice guy, no ego in the world, total car guy. Both of us have met him a couple of times, and he's always spends his time. He likes to chat. And he had an accident this week. He was on an Indian motorcycle, apparently. He was taking it out for a test ride after some work, and he smelled gas. And he thought, I don't want another reoccurrence of what happened when I got burned. So he thought, well, I'll pull off safely onto a side road and stop and check it out. And he drove through a parking lot, and someone put a chain across or a cord across without flags on it, and he got what you call clothesline, where he came off the bike kept going, right?
The bike kept going, and an Indian, I've driven our friend Glenn's Indian, and it'll keep going because it weighs about as much as a horse.
Right. So
it's just he got hurt, broken collarbone, broken ribs, cracked kneecaps.
That doesn't sound fun.
And of course, your ego suffers a lot.
Yeah, especially coming off another accident. But these things happen. The sad thing is too, they canceled his show on CNBC, Jay Leno's Garage. So, not a big week for Jay Leno. We wish him well. When we come back, we're going to talk about infrared heaters in cars, getting you nice and warm and cozy real fast. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson taking you on a ride around the automotive industry. Talking about everything. We're talking about Jay Leno before the break and his kind of rough week and the show being canceled. I'm sure they'll keep that going on YouTube, don't you think?
Well, sure. It'll be repeated, of course, a lot on YouTube. You can get anything, pretty much anything.
It started on YouTube. That's how the show started on YouTube. So, I think we haven't heard the last from him. It's kind of a rough patch for him. Rough patch.
Well, yeah. And it's such a pleasant guy, and the show is always very entertaining. He's always bringing eclectic vehicles and owners on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And of course, it's my second favorite behind Wheeler Dealers.
Oh yeah, I like Wheeler Dealers.
Which is the best.
Yeah, Elvis, the mechanic.
Elvis. Yeah, Priestley.
Priestley. Yeah, it's easy to keep saying Presley, but
it really is.
Yeah. So, let's talk some tech. Lexus, the new Lexus RZ, which is an electric crossover, will use infrared technology to heat the cabin. And I love how they say this. Lexus says the warming effect can be likened to having a warm blanket placed across your legs on a chilly day. What they've done is they've placed panels at knee level behind the instruments and steering column panels, and this is going to warm you up. And of course, it's an electric vehicle, so they will warm up right away. It automatically will do this when you jump in the vehicle.
That's really nice. Again, I can picture the radiant heaters over the food at a fast food restaurant.
Burger up.
but I just love the whole idea. Instant comfort.
Yeah.
In the summer or in the winter, that's what you hope for.
Well, this is first going to come out in Australia. So I don't know how cold, honestly, it gets in Australia.
I don't either.
I have Australian friends. I suppose I could contact them and say, does it ever get cold there enough to turn on your car heater? But it's part of the Lexus Climate Concierge system. How's that?
Are they going to charge for that?
No, they're not going to just give you it free, I'm sure.
Well, no, I mean on a subscription basis.
Oh, wow. Yeah, your car has a heater, but it's, $15.95 a month.
Although I think trying that out on the Australians is a bad idea.
Right. Yeah, I think so. But, a little known fact, if you haven't driven an electric car, people think they're slow, but they also don't know the heater and defroster comes on right away because it's an electric element, right?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. When it's cold weather and I have an electric press car, my wife says, that's amazing. The heat comes right up. You don't have to wait for the engine to warm up.
Yeah, it's within seconds. It starts getting warm air.
Yeah, she likes that a lot. Climate concierge. Yeah.
Yes. Just means we're soft.
That means I can't stand this cold. What's going on? You have to have a car with a heated steering wheel, too. That's a requirement.
No argument.
So, that is, it's kind of funny, I guess. What do they call that? A first world problem, right?
That is a first world problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're spoiled. Let's face it.
Hey, let's talk about the Corvette Z06 GT3R. This is, if you watched our interview, and I'll plug this again, you go over to our YouTube page, you can check it out. Our interview last week on Cruise Control with Harlan Charles, the Corvette product manager. He was talking about the E-Ray. That's right. 30 great minutes of information there. We've been getting a lot of interest in that. But one of the things he mentioned was the GT3R. Remember, he mentioned that. He said, we're coming out with that. Well, he of course, is a man in the know because they came out with it this week in Daytona, Florida. They debuted the Corvette Z06 GT3R race car. This is a vehicle you can buy, and you can race it if you want to be a privateer racing.
Right out of the showroom.
Right out of the showroom. They send him to Pratt Miller, and they put a roll cage in and get it competition ready. It's actually, I quite like the graphics. I think they're quite interesting, don't you?
You know what would be really cool would be for a small team of these to just and record it, film it, buy a bunch, just prep them and take them to Le Mans and come in at a high place in the race. That would just be so cool, you know, that you bought something out of the showroom and you almost win at Le Mans.
Well, it's interesting. It reminds me, and this is going back a ways, back to the C4 days of the Corvette Challenge. Do you remember that? And our friend Chip Miller had a couple of those Corvette Challenge cars. They were C4s, and it was kind of the same idea. Maybe not as advanced as this, but matched vehicle. Oh, sort of like their IROC, you know? A Corvette IROC, where everything is very similar, and it's up to the driver to make the difference, and in some cases the tuning. In IROC, you couldn't even tune the car. It was like a sealed car, and you got in it, and the concept was, we'll see, the cars should be very closely matched. Let's see what the drivers can do, right?
Yeah, they like to match the cars enough to where it's the skill of the drivers that makes the difference.
Yeah. So there you have it. It is available for you. I don't think we have pricing on it, but
I don't think so. But didn't we guess it would be, you know, 100 plus?
Oh, easily. I do like the front lights on it for additional visibility, and I do like the graphics. Actually, like that roof graphic. That I think I could see that on certain Corvette owners will put that on there. I'm sure that will be available.
Oh yes.
The rear wing might be a little bit aggressive, but people would put
rear
that
wing is definitely for the racetrack.
Yeah, that is the size. That is basically the size of a top fuel dragster wing, I believe.
That's it's the size of my dining room table.
All right. Well, we'll have more on Corvette racing, I'm sure, in the future, and Harlan will be back because they're going to be bringing out more and more new things, and we'll get him on again. I'm sure we'll be doing something with him very soon. Let's talk about Formula One. Interesting story. I believe this was in Autoblog. I have to ask this. You're a Netflix guy, too. I have not watched the Formula One Drive to Survive series. Have you?
I have watched it.
What do you think of it?
It's very well done. It gives you a real feel for the all of the dynamics involved with Formula One racing.
Okay.
From the driver's perspective, from the track, from the crew.
Mm-hmm.
No, it'll get you wanting to do it.
Okay. All
and
right.
All you need is $20 million.
Yeah, all you
need.
Yeah. Well, some of that storytelling was very point of view style work, and Formula One has come up with a small camera that will actually be inside the driver's helmet, so very close to their eye level, seeing exactly what they see. Not something that's built into the roll bar or whatever. This will be really point of view. It will be fitted into the protective padding of the face mask area of the helmet, and it will be wired to a control unit in the car, and the standard F1 telemetry hardware on board will transmit the camera feed, and this is going to be used in the coverage of Formula One, which sounds very exciting to me.
It is, and in no way does the driver do anything with the camera. Doesn't control it.
No, it's just there.
Doesn't doesn't even point it anywhere. It has to be by regulation. It has to be completely seamless from the driver. So there's no distraction.
Yeah.
So, Mr. TV boy,
Okay.
let me ask you this: having been in these cars,
Right.
it's not smooth. There's a lot of vibration. There's, of course, G-forces when you're going on the pavement. How do you stabilize a 2.5 gram video camera
On someone's head. You can do
on
it
someone's head?
in the camera or out of the camera. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. They might be sending a shaky image and stabilizing it wherever it goes.
They must. So you can do that after the fact.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting stuff on Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson. We'll be right back with an At the Wheel review.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's At the Wheel time. We always like to give you an At the Wheel review. And this time around, it is the 2022, this is the 2022 version of the Mazda Cx-30. We'll also tell you a little bit about what's new for 2023 with this model. Small crossover. It's, I believe, their smallest crossover, but it's not a small vehicle by any stretch of the imagination. This is the Cx-30 2.5-liter turbo all-wheel drive with Premium Plus package. There you go. Polymetal gray metallic, black accents, of course. How do you know it's a crossover, Les? It's got to have that black cladding around the wheel wells.
That's right. And it's got to have a lot of space between the fender and the tire.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, nice vehicle, small vehicle, very sporty. And what makes it sporty is it's got 227 horsepower. That comes from a 2.5-liter turbo engine, the Sky Active Drive transmission with sport mode as well. That engine puts out 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. 2.5 liter with a turbo is a big engine these days when it comes to small crossovers, wouldn't you say?
It is. It's not a big engine physically,
but it's a big engine as far as...
But it's big power.
Yeah. Very sporty-looking long hood, obviously it's hatchback rear deck. And on the inside, it's pretty sporty as well. If you've driven a Mazda, you'll be very aware of this interior. It's got the stand-up monitor on the inside. It's got, I think, one of the sportiest steering wheels out there. What Mazda does this. When I reviewed this, by the way, it was pouring down rain, so it was a little hard to do the photography, but. The interior is black interior, black and brown, high-end materials. I think Mazda is never one to tout their infotainment system, but it did have one with the knobs on the center console. Good quality materials on the inside, and I think that's something you notice right away. Good quality materials. In all of Mazda's vehicles, that's something they've really played up. How did it drive? It was very sporty feeling. Very sporty feeling. I would use the term zoom, but they don't use that anymore. The guy that said that kid must be like 45 years old now. Remember the kid that used to whisper that? Zoom?
Yes, indeed. Zoom. Remember the kid? Yeah. Zoom, zoom.
Yeah, not anymore. I don't think he's
Now that
doing
kid's
that
a
anymore.
grandfather now.
The, the kid's grandfather. Exactly. Zoom, zoom. But yes, this was in polymetal gray metallic paint. That was an upcharge of $395. Not too terrible about that. And it has a lot of smart safety features, including front and rear parking sensors, traffic jam assist, which means it will brake your car and start it on its own if so you're sort of paying attention in traffic jams. Auto dimming driver side mirror, home link, which I don't know if a lot of people use home link. That's the setup so you can use your garage door opener. Maybe they do. I don't know. We don't set it up because we're in these cars for a week. Smart brake support, rear cross traffic braking. I love that feature. If you've ever been in a parking lot and there's two giant trucks on either side of you and you're backing out, that will help you, because sometimes you just got to back out and hope no one's coming along at a high rate of speed, right?
Absolutely.
This vehicle scores high, 5 stars all the way around, 4 stars on rollover, but on side crash, front and rear seat, 4 stars, 5 stars, I should say. Frontal crash, driver and passenger, 5 stars. So overall vehicle rating, 5 stars, which is great news. Mileage, it's okay. It is 30 on the highway, 22 city for an average number of 25. So not super great on miles, but not terrible either. But just a very sporty looking vehicle, heated steering wheel, heated leather seats. It's got all those goodies. So base price was $34,400. When we added in the polymetal gray metallic paint, that was $395. The rear bumper guard, which is nice to have, $125. Total in vehicle with options, $34,920, and then delivery and processing $1,225. $36,145 is the number for this 2022 model. And for 2023, they're going to bump up the horsepower of this vehicle for 5 more horsepower and improved fuel economy. Can't go wrong there. As I mentioned, all of the new models, all of these new CX-30 models meet the IIHS newest safety protocols with the addition of rear side airbags, rear side seatbelt tensioners, and additional enhancements. They start, if you're not looking for one that is really well equipped, they start at $22,950. That's for the non-turbo model, and $33,800 for the turbo model. You might want to think about the turbo model. It's pretty fun. Even the 2.5 liter natural though S model comes with the latest iActive all-wheel drive, which is really great. You step up to the Select after that, the Preferred, the Carbon Edition, the Premium, and the Turbo Premium, and then as tested, ours the Turbo Premium Plus, and that can top out at $35,400 for the 2023 model year. Paint upcharges, you can get the Soul Red Crystal Metallic. That is one of the hottest colors in the Mazda lineup. It's candy apple red, basically, isn't it?
Well, it is, but it, boy, is a really nice modern version of it.
It sure is. Yeah, that tinted clear coat really makes it pop. So if you're looking for a small but sporty crossover, this might be the one to look for. We love the way it drove. Plenty of power on the road. I like the exterior styling. It's a neat-looking package. It is a nice interior. The downsides, I'm just not a big fan of their infotainment system, which I think would be a downside to this. But I think also this has to be one of the highest horsepower vehicles, especially now it's adding 5 more horsepower for 2023 in its class. So it definitely has a premium feel. It definitely, there's no hiding that is a premium feel. I happen to like the black wheels. Some people say they're played out. I like black wheels. I think they hide the dust nicely. So a good vehicle. Final point of assembly, I believe, is in Mexico. And what else can I tell you about it? Well, just great sporty vehicle to drive. I think it's one to consider. And you have a wide range of options and trim levels that starts pretty affordably if you go for the 2.5 liter standard naturally aspirated engine. And you can basically almost over a $10,000 range between the
By the way,
base.
that's 150 cubic inches.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It really is. I think the
we would've-
supercharger on some V8 engines is almost that big.
Yeah.
So, so one to look at, the Mazda Cx-30, and they are bringing out a lot of CX vehicles. They're going to bring out the CX-90, I believe. They've been teasing that a lot. So keep your eyes peeled for that unless you drove the CX-50, their rugged version of that. So, hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road. Take care.
Bye-bye.